The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that do.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
If you've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population, this place absolutely outshines it.
It's Friday, the 20th day of February, 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, and we'll have a news break from Teo Dill in a bit. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. How's everyone feeling today? It is the end of the traditional work week. You have made it. You have made it. You have made it. You have made it. Hopefully you've had a productive week. It is also budget day. The government, the leader of Bermuda, the premier and minister of finance, the Honorable E. David Burt, will present, I guess, and read the government's budget for 2026-27. So we've got a lot to discuss this morning. And so the questions are very simple, audience, very simple. If you could add one line to the premier's budget speech that would truly improve Bermuda's economy, what would it say? And what should the number one priority in this budget be? What's the number one priority? Now, you heard Mr. Simmons and other experts saying that paying the debt down. You have others who say addressing the cost of living. There's a lot you can say and a lot people will say. But I'll say this much. And this is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. The Premier David Burt, as he gets set to deliver the 2026-27 budget speech, and that's not just a financial document, it's a roadmap. It tells us what government believes the priorities are. It shows where money will go. And it reveals how they believe our economy should grow. But this morning, as I just mentioned, I want to flip it a bit. I want all of us to put ourselves in the premier, the minister of finance, the government's shoes. If you were standing in the House of Assembly reading that budget speech, what would you say? What would you focus on? Would it be cost of living relief? Would it be tax reform? Would it be small business support? Would it be housing? Would it be healthcare? Would it be education? Would it be debt reduction? Would it be job creation? Here's the thing. Truth is, improving the economy isn't just about GDP numbers. It's about whether Bermudians feel progress in their daily lives. So today, before the speech is even read, we're going to have that conversation. What does a better Bermuda economy look like to all of us? If you could add one line to the premier's budget speech that would truly improve Bermuda's economy, what would it say? And what should the number one priority be in this budget? Let us know. Let us know your thoughts. And greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. We will be welcoming Greg Wilson on from the Food Forest. We're going to be discussing rising costs of groceries, food security, and so much more. So stay tuned for our guest. The Daily Play is going to, well, it's Friday, things you should know. And don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. But those are the questions for the morning, and I'll jump right into this part. So, key areas that we probably want to listen for in this budget speech. Cost of living relief. Now, we do have the Honorable Minister under her ministry, Alexa Lightbourne, who has focused on that, the affordable food basket and the like. Many conversations are had about reducing or eliminating duty on essential items, grocery subsidies or price controls, fuel tax relief, electricity cost reform, right? We have to ask ourselves, do Bermudians need immediate relief more than long-term reform? That's a question. Small business support, right? There are so many people who have lost jobs, maybe losing jobs, but they have the skill to start their own businesses. How can the government support them through this budget? Lower payroll tax for small businesses? Grants or low interest loans? BDC does a great job of that. Reduced red tape and licensing delays? Incentives for local hiring? Another question, is government doing enough to help Bermudians build wealth locally? We have a housing crisis. I'm pretty sure when Home announces their numbers for the last year, there may be an increase in homelessness. Incentives to bring vacant properties back online. We spoke about derelict homes for years on this show. Affordable housing construction. Rent control adjustments. First-time home buyer programs extended. Is housing the biggest economic pressure point right now? Job creation and workforce development. Tourism expansion. Tech and AI sector investment. Apprenticeship programs. Trade development. Are we preparing young Bermudians for the economy of 2035, not just 2026? The big one, debt and fiscal responsibility. Reducing national debt has been a priority for many economists, financiers, and business people. Managing government spending. Transparency around public finances. Should we prioritize cutting debt even if it slows spending? That's a necessary question. Health reform, insurance cost transparency, catastrophic coverage caps, hospital stabilization funding, right? And economic diversification. An MOU was signed not long ago for medical tourism, maybe renewable energy sector, international business expansion, digital asset industry. These are things that could help grow our economy. Audience, don't be quiet. This is your economy. And you don't have to be an expert in finances or the economics to have an opinion on the state of the finances in your economy. So again, the question of the morning, if you could add one line to the Premier's budget speech that he'll be delivering later today, what would it be? What would you say? And also, what do you believe should be the number one priority in the Premier's budget? What do you believe should be the number one priority in the Premier's budget? Charles H. Jeffers II says, I would like to hear, quote, I would like to thank former Minister of Finance Curtis Dickinson and former Bermuda College lecturer Craig Simmons for their consultation, end quote. We need Bermuda's best minds. Wow. I see what you did, Charles. And it's interesting because the chamber breakfast, I saw who the panel will be. And I would have thought that the former finance minister, he's still a government MP, would have been on the panel. I would have probably wondered why someone like Craig Simmons is not on the panel. But I take your point, Charles, that we hope that the premier isn't so ego-driven and controlling that he wouldn't invite Bermuda's brightest and best minds into the conversation. Mark Arthur says, good morning. If I want more votes, I would focus on housing. But if I want to do what's best for the country, I would focus on reducing the debt. Interesting. Interesting, Mark. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. What else, audience? What would you say if you could add one line to the premier's budget? What would you add? What would you say to improve Bermuda's economy? And what do you believe should be the number one priority in the premier's budget today? Housing for votes, says Mark Arthur. Debt, if we're focused on doing what's best for the country, says Mark Arthur. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. We've got Sean Smith says reducing debt. It transforms a fiscal year from a constrained accounting exercise into an expandable economic platform. Money now becomes available for healthcare, infrastructure, education, etc. I'm more interested as to why the premier wouldn't focus on the debt as the number one priority. Again, I'm not a finance expert, but I know a little something. I did an MBA. I did pay attention in class. I do my best to read to understand. So I'm a bit confused as to why he wouldn't, rather than, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Suzanne Ingham says, I agree, Mark. Reduce the debt. Reduce the debt. What else, audience? What else, audience? I mean, there's so much to it. As I mentioned, you've got healthcare, right? You've got, the cost of living, small business support, job creation, economic diversification. I do believe many folks say that if you address the debt, then everything else falls into place. How do you feel about that? Do you agree? Or no? If you address the debt, everything else falls into place. This is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. It's a difficult one for me, man. Because I do agree debt should be number one. But it's almost like there's so many issues. How do you prioritize? Right? I don't know. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, statement, this is what he'd add. Our economy is a vibrant one. This reality does not mean we cannot have honest discussions about making our economy even more vibrant. Okay? How are we going to do that? How are we going to make the economy more vibrant? I always wonder when trying to figure things out in politics. Like I asked the Commissioner of Police, Darren Simons, the other morning, what jurisdictions or countries or islands or places do you look to? Because I do wonder, as the premier delivers his budget speech, what similar jurisdictions is he using as a guide? I'd be interested in knowing that. Like, who has had some similar debt to us with a smaller economy that has been able to come out of this? I think that would definitely give more insight as to why decisions are made, how they're made, and where they are trying to go with things. All right, we've got Suzanne Ingham says, if we reduce the debt, I think there would be more pennies for our pockets and helping us Bermudians. Just my opinion. I think that's what most people feel, Suzanne. I think that's a shared opinion. I think that's a shared opinion. What else, audience? What line would you add to the Premier's budget that you truly believe would improve Bermuda's economy? What would it say if you could add one line? And also, let us know what should be the number one priority in this budget. Like, what do you believe should be the Premier's number one priority in this budget? This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, keep in mind that the Minister of Finance cannot say anything negative about the economy. To do so risks downgrading of ratings or reduction in places where Bermuda can borrow from. Well, yeah, he has to be very strategic with the language he uses. Very strategic. But I think you can deliver an impactful budget, an honest budget, without saying anything negative, right? I'm sure that can be done. Yeah. You know, I said it yesterday about Minister of Education. Say it again. I don't envy that position. Like I don't envy it. It's difficult. But again, they're not forced to be in these spaces. They chose to be in these spaces. They chose it. Audience, if you could add one line to the Premier's budget speech that would improve Bermuda's economy, what would that one line say? And also, what do you believe should be the number one priority in the Premier's budget? What do you believe the number one priority should be in the government's budget, in this budget that's going to be read today? Charles H. Jefferson II says, I hear people saying to focus on the debt, but we can't do the debt without focusing on social issues. If we don't, we might be debt free, but with fewer Bermudians living in Bermuda. Well, it just goes back to, it's hard to prioritize, Charles. I mean, we have serious issues. We have serious unaddressed issues. Serious unaddressed issues. It's unfortunate. But that's our state. Polly Rich says, number one priority, reducing debt. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, focus needs to be on housing or national security. Okay. All right. Housing or national security. I think that almost aligns with Charles, what he said regarding social issues. Yeah. Michael Daniel says there are a number of questions about who, what, and why Bermudians are in 2026. And I am wondering if a sociological evaluation is something we should look into. See, I think the last three comments are aligned. I think you're all touching on something. While we think of a number, there's something bigger at play here. There's something bigger here. The point that I think is being made by the last three comments that I've read is that while speaking about numbers, we cannot forget about the human element. Does that make sense? Let us not be so caught up in numbers that we ignore the human element. There was a time where they said only when the stock market crashed, that only rich people care about that, the ones losing. Poor people just been poor, lower middle class, we don't care. Our lives haven't changed much. It's an interesting time to live in, folks. A very interesting time to live in. It is. Folks, this is Daily Discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I've said it before, but we need to invest in a plan that spends long after this current budget cycle. But here's the issue with that, right? And we speak about it all the time on this show. Governments plan for the next election to get reelected. most don't do the long-term thing. And that's not a shot or throat-to-throat shade at the government or politicians. But prove us wrong. Prove the general public wrong. I've been in conversations with public officers, and they're like, it's hard to do our job effectively because the ministers are too involved. And when they get involved, it's like, what's going to make them look good or what's going to help get them votes, not what's really in the best interest for that situation. This is not to say all ministers act like this. This is not to say all issues are responded to like this. But it is to say that we have problems doing what's in the best interest of the community when politics is involved, unfortunately. All right, folks, that's your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. It is budget day in Bermuda. Polly Rich said she'd say her line, government will make more of a concerted effort in finding ways to reduce costs of importing goods. Pie in the sky, but hey. I mean, there are many things that have been said in throne speeches, budget speeches that have been or seemed like pie in the sky. I get it. I really do. All right, folks, let's show some love to Titan Express and Secure. Then we'll go to the news break with Teo Dill.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All righty, let's go to Teo with your daily hour news break, folks. And in the meantime, if you haven't already and you are streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. And you don't want to miss this conversation coming up with Greg Wilson, Food Forest. We're going to learn how to feed ourselves and not, take it out of the hands of others. Stick with us.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to your TDH News Break brought to you by the great folks at Peoples. Wherever life takes you, Peoples is here when you need us. A familiar face, a caring hand, and a reminder that you matter. And all eyes are going to be on our parliament today as the national budget is delivered. And based on public statements made over the past 6 months, we should have a decent sense of where the government is likely to focus their financial commitments. Now, the government of Bermuda has repeatedly emphasized cost of living relief, so expect continued support measures tied to healthcare, energy stability, and possibly targeted tax adjustments. Workforce development has also been a consistent theme, particularly around youth employment, technical training, and investment in education reform. Infrastructure upgrades and digital modernization within government services have been highlighted as priorities heading into this year. And with the premier signaling a push towards economic resilience and international business growth, we may also see commitments tied to regulatory modernization, strengthening Bermuda's competitive position globally, and of course, servicing the debt. And we will all find out in just a couple hours. And next week, TDH will talk you through everything in the budget that matters. And if you're the kind of person that wants to make sense of Bermuda's national budget beyond the headlines, we got something worth your time. The Adult Education School and HSBC are hosting modules 2 and 3 of AES's financial literacy series, that is budgeting, happening at Vision Bermuda at Beacon House, 6 p.m. next Wednesday. The session's going to break down how the national budget statement's created, how policy decisions are made, and how they're practically implemented. And you're also going to get practical home budgeting tips from managing income and expenses to smarter credit card use. The event is close to capacity, but still feel free to just roll up next Wednesday evening at Vision Bermuda at 6 p.m. Now, as the government's likely to commit this year to spending some money on digital modernization, that means AI is almost certainly going to be baked into state services on a whole new level this year, which means alongside, as you'd expect, the efficiency that comes along with that, we're going to have a whole new set of risks to consider. For example, crooks used AI deepfake technology to impersonate executives during a video call and trick an employee at an engineering firm into transferring them $25 million. The voices and faces appeared real. They were not, and the money was gone before anyone realized the meeting was entirely synthetic. Tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Meta's Llama models were found being used to mass produce election misinformation during major global election cycles. Fake articles, AI-generated commentary, and coordinated bot content flooded social platforms faster than moderation teams could respond. Also, image generators have been used to create non-consensual, explicit deepfakes targeting public figures and even children. So, yeah, we really need to understand these tools because they are incredibly powerful, and some trifling folks are going to want to use them to do harm to others. Now, from now until next week, conditions should be about as gorgeous as they could be weather-wise for this time of year. High pressure is keeping us mostly fine as we head into the weekend, even if a sprinkle sneaks through here and there. For today, clouds thicken at times with a chance of a shower or two overnight. Wind should stay west-southwesterly in the moderate to strong range, easing a bit from time to time. The high temperature should be around 72 degrees, low near 66. Saturday will stay warm near 73 degrees with sunny periods, while Sunday turns a bit breezier again with a few developing showers as low pressure builds to our north. And that's your TDH News Break brought to you by our friends at Peoples. I'm Teo Dill. Back to the show. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks so much, Tay Easy. All right, folks, it's let's do this. Days of the year. So it's so many. World Day of Justice. It's National Tartar Sauce Day. Ooh. International Lego Classism Day. It is Hoodie Who Day. It is Clean Out Your Bookcase Day. National Leadership Day, National Whistleblower Reward Day, Handcuff Day, Women in Blue Jeans Day, Student Volunteer Day, No Politics Day, Yukon Heritage Day. It is Day of Solidarity with Muslim, Arab, and South Asians Immigrants Day. It is National Muffin Day, National Caregivers Day, National Cherry Pie Day, World Care Day, International Pipe Smoking Day, Love Your Pet Day, National Comfy Day, and we're going to go with Friday Fish Friday. So I got to ask you all, what is your favorite type of fried fish? Favorite fried fish. What is your favorite fried fish? Would I be born if I just said snapper? Or no, you know what? I'm going to go with red hind. My favorite fried fish, red hind. Please, nobody say catfish. Please, nobody say catfish. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's not fish. That's not fish. What's your favorite fried fish, folks? It's Fish Friday. What is your favorite fried fish? We've got Suzanne Ingham says hogfish and snapper. We've got Richard Scott says rockfish. We've got snapper says Aaron Smith. We've got wahoo says Stacey Ann Brown. I forgot Miss Ellen Kate Horton doesn't like the fish. More for us. We've got Dorian says turbot. That's my dad. Like he loves some turbot. I like it, but you know what? Maybe I'll get some this weekend. Fried sardines, says Sean Smith. Never. Okay. I'm not going, you know what? I'm not going to knock it till I try it. Fried sardines. Interesting. We've got Nicole Walker says, Mama Mia's has the best tartar sauce. Got on my blue jeans, having fried hind tonight. So she ain't invite nobody. Yeah, red hind's one of my favorites, boy. Red hind. What else, audience? What's your favorite fried fish? What's your favorite fried fish? I don't eat tartar sauce, so I usually just put a little hot sauce on mine. Someone said tilapia. WKD Lama says, are you being serious? Is tilapia really your favorite fried fish? Or are you pulling my leg? Are you pulling my leg, WKD Lama? All right, so I'm going to say, yeah, I think snapper is the most normal for me. But red hind would be my favorite. I do like wahoo, fried wahoo, because I like the thickness of wahoo. I know a lot of people don't like thick texture, but I love the thickness. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I'm not discriminatory as long as it's on raisin bread with cheese, coleslaw, and tartar. So cheese, I don't eat that. Coleslaw, I don't eat that. Tartar, I don't eat that. But it sounds like a delicious fish sandwich. No hot sauce, Charles? No hot sauce? Michael Daniel says, I agree, catfish is gross and it's not really fish. All right, real quickly, before we go to break, we've got a guest coming on. So coming from Bermuda, obviously, we eat a lot of fish from the ocean. So I was in college and you see all these people talking about catfish, especially people in the South. So I'm like, okay, let me get some catfish, fry up some catfish. And I went to the store, I got some catfish and fried it up. And I took a bite and I was like, I spit it out. I was like, what is this? And so I thought I was, I'm not the greatest cook, but I was just, maybe it's my cooking, right? Then I went to a restaurant and tried it. And I just was like, I don't get it. It wasn't appetizing. So that's not to criticize anyone's, culture or stuff. But when your taste buds are used to something, I guess more flavorful or fresh, then that taste absolutely does come across a bit disgusting. Renee Simmons says, I don't eat fish, so none of that for me ever. More for us. Hey, we're not mad at you, sis. Polly Rich says rockfish. Charles says no hot sauce. I don't do spicy anything. Well, more hot sauce for us. Richard Scott agrees. Catfish. Oh, yuck. And he's a Texan too. See. All right, folks, let's take a quick break. We've got Greg Wilson coming up. Food Forest. I know he spends time in the garden, but I do want to ask him his favorite fried fish as well when we get back. Stick with us. Oh, no. Fried codfish cakes don't count. We'll be back after this, folks. Stick with us. Charles is crazy.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
What if the age that really matters isn't the one on your ID? You probably know your chronological age, the number of candles on your last birthday cake. But there's another kind of age that may be even more important, your biological age. This reflects how old your body truly is at the cellular level. It is influenced by your genes, your environment, and the choices you make every day. Two people can both be 40 years old on paper, but one may have the body of a healthy 30-year-old while the other is biologically closer to 50. The difference? Lifestyle choices on nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and exposure to toxins. That means you have some control over your biological clock, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when it comes to aging, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Want to know your predicted biological age today? Download the free Carry Genetics app and fill in the lifestyle questionnaire.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Jamal Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour, brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, without further ado, an audience, before we do it, I checked the channel, so you should be able to hear the crowd going crazy for our very special guest today from Food Forest. Please welcome Greg Wilson.
So much.
They're going
Thank
crazy.
Yeah.
Greg.
How's things?
Things are well, but before we get into anything,
yeah.
Your favorite fried fish?
My favorite fried fish. Well, I grew up in Elis Harbor, okay, and I fished Elis Harbor every day from the time I was maybe 5 years old till an adult. And my favorite fish was the gray snapper. We caught so many of them in Elis Harbor, and we would cook them right on the beach. You see, back in the 60s, the neighborhoods had 20, 30 children. You see, today we have maybe 10. But back then we had 30 kids in a neighborhood, 40 kids in a neighborhood. We had communities. And that's what we did. We would fish, and we didn't have internet. So we would catch the fish and cook it right on the beach and explore, all of the beach areas and the islands. We would swim to them. So that was our introduction to life.
And that's the real fish fry, right? Like that's when I heard about fish fries, that you would catch them and cook them right there.
Yes. Our parents did it. Most Bermudians did it. We all did it. And so many things have changed.
Yeah, certainly. And not for the better,
Yeah.
Greg, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for doing this. But for folks who have never seen you, didn't miss your visit before, or unfamiliar, just give the audience a bit about your background and, speak to the audience about what Food Forest BDA is and what you've been up to since you were last on this show.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, I've been in the food and beverage industry for well over 50 years now. I started back in hospitality back in the 70s in hotel school, and worked in major hotels throughout the island, and even in my own restaurants. So I've been in the food business for quite some time. But in 2021, amid uncertainty, I teamed up with my young kids, my niece, my son, and we wanted to create something that would make a difference, but something small that we thought would make a big difference. And we came up with Food Forest. We decided to feed people, and over the course of time, just learning. I'm a student of the soil. I've been one since my gemology days, geology. I did all of that when I was very young. So I'm very familiar with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I also grew up with a garden. So planting became natural. But we created Food Forest. And how we did it was using natural resources. Instead of importing everything, we're making everything right here. We're not bringing in anything from outside. We even save seeds right now. And we make compost, and we've developed this formula that's so vibrant that it allows for plants to really grow in a healthy, nutritious way. So that's what we do. And we studied mycology and also biology. Plants are living organisms.
Yeah.
Okay, and the system that they live in is a living organism. It's made up of many, many layers, and we have to be able to to understand how those layers work. So our resources are right here. We often look overseas for remedies, but the answers are right here. Imagine this. Bermuda imports over 94% of its food. We spend over $300 million a year on food imports. That's hundreds of millions leaving our shores and doing nothing to suit our economy.
Yeah.
Rising shipping costs, global disruptions, hurricanes, they all threaten our supply lines. That makes us vulnerable, right? Extremely vulnerable. And so that's not someone else's problem. That's our problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Indeed.
And yeah, so teaming up with my kids, we try to address these issues. And we see in a $300 million a year industry, where does our local farmers play a part in that? It's less than 5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? It's less than 5%. Imagine if we could take that to 25%.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That opens up another $150 million in our economy that now goes to suit our to help our economy instead of being siphoned off.
Well, what a day to speak on this.
Yes, you want answers, but we keep looking outside for answers that are within.
Yeah.
We have a tremendous amount of natural resources, not just farming. I mean, farming is special to me because I see this huge industry that we service over 40 different restaurants now. We've grown so much. I mean, when I leave you today, I have to deliver to 7 island-wide. You see, and this is 3 days a week for us now.
So you sell directly to consumers, but also do to businesses.
The consumer business is probably about 5% of our total. All the rest is restaurants and supermarkets and hotels. They take an awful lot of produce. And
what would you say? I mean, for Food Forest, what is the overall goal? Like, is the goal to? It seems like it's not just to own a business, but it's to empower people and reshape how we live.
I think Food Forest is more dedicated to community based because we have a natural resource. We have our gardens. Now, they're a far cry from the 3,000 acres that we had, 30, 40 years ago. But a lot of land is in private hands. Huge properties, 30 acres, 40 acres, 20 acres are in private hands. And that you can take a small piece of land and you could make that small piece of land so effective that it can produce up to at least 5 times what conventional acreage can produce. That's the market garden concept, right? And so what we've done is we have partnered up with smaller growers throughout the island. We provide them with the seedlings, we provide them with the compost, we provide them with the support, the technical support, and even with everything. And then they produce. And so they then deliver to us. We take what we grow and we add to it. Now we're producing hundreds of pounds per week, you see? And this is how we are able to take back some of that food security
Tell me
issue.
something. So, and I must add this because this is Vendor Friday, is brought to you by our friends at BDC. Last November, Food Forest won the BDC and Global Atlantic Wave of Opportunity competition, which got an investment into the business. Why did you all decide to enter that competition, and how did that support help accelerate your mission and expand your impact?
I actually noticed it in an ad that BEDC had put out. I have been registered for quite some time, so I get their emails, and then I noticed that this pitch company. This was like in September. I saw that, and I said, "Oh, this would be a great opportunity for Food Forest to expand." And so we entered the competition. We passed the preliminary rounds, and BEDC is amazing. They're so helpful when it comes to business. We've been to a couple of their programs and functions as well, and so it's only made sense for us to enter. And we actually were fortunate enough to win. I wasn't surprised because it's about sustainability, but the whole issue for us is to use these funds to create a educational facility. The key for us here at Food Forest is to have producers. So we're partnering with other firms, and what we're doing is we're creating an agricultural educational facility where we'll get the students to participate in day releases where they'll learn horticulture, agriculture, agronomy, and all the sciences, microscopy. They'll be able to see the living organisms under microscopes in an environment that is a market garden. It's a compost facility and a market garden. And then once they move through this program, we have producers that will now be able to expand on all of this private land that we have. We can't depend on the public land too much. It's a lot of red tape, but the private enterprises, the private people who own private lots, they're a lot more encouraging when it comes to doing things sustainable. You see, because this is how we grow out of it. And I believe that in 10 years, we could easily take that, reduce that $300 million bill that we spend on food each year by at least 30 million.
Let's go a bit deeper. And audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through. But look, we've seen it. Grocery prices continue to rise. You've touched on it. The amount we spend outside, going outside Bermuda. Bermudians are feeling the strain, right? How serious would you say our food security challenge is right now in Bermuda?
Oh, it's on life support, in my opinion. It really is. It's on life support. The average age of a farmer is like 64, 62, something like that. So they're aging up, you see. So farming is a dying industry. So we really need to focus. And this is one of the points for me that I really try to emphasize to anyone who will listen, that education and teaching these young kids these life skills are the way forward when it comes to food security. It's not hydroponics. Hydroponics is growing something hydroponically to me. And I've built hydroponic farms. I've built aquaponic farms. I'm very, very well versed with them. Is that growing in a water solution is like being in a hospital on a drip. So that's not the answer. The answer is right beneath our feet in our soils. That's simple.
You spoke about community-based food solutions being at the heart of what you do. How can initiatives like Food Forest help build long-term resilience for families and neighborhoods? Through educating the children. Ask Teo, his daughter, Amelia. She's 8, 9 years old. She was here yesterday. And guess what? She pricked out an entire tray of arugula seedlings, and she put her hands in the soil. She made cocoa core, made potting mix. She spent the entire afternoon just loving the soil, and then at the end of the day, oh, look at my nail. But they loved it. Teaching the kids is the way forward. Okay. So at Food Forest, when we create this educational facility, not only students
will be, not only, we'll encourage everyone to come and learn, parents as well, come with their children and learn in this environment. We do this at Food Forest all the time. We have families that come with their kids, and I put them right in the soils. And now we have, at Food Forest, we have a 14-year-old who's been with us for now almost 3 years, and he comes every Saturday, and he absolutely loves it. His name is Tristan, and he loves the soil. So this is what we have to do. We have to teach the kids, and then the kids will encourage growth in their own backyards.
Interesting. Let's go to the audience. Audience, I'll get to as many questions as possible. We've got Karen Simmons. She says, "Morning, Mr. Wilson. Do you find that farmers in Bermuda support one another and the various initiatives that they are progressing into?"
I am a member of the Bermuda Farmers Association, and they're pretty solid. The farmers in Bermuda, let me tell you, they work extremely hard, and the pressure that is put on them externally, as well as the lack of support that I'm feeling from the government. And I'm speaking as from a personal experience. I was a board member of agriculture. I know how these things have been working, and the talk of support is there, but the action is not. And so the farmers are extremely frustrated. They're extremely frustrated.
Indeed. We've got Shikarina asking, if there was a national commitment towards food security, education, alternate land use, etc., how long would it take to turn it around to make the island food independent? A decade, 15 years, maybe?
At this stage, Bermuda will never be food independent. There is not enough, what's the word I want to use? I guess political will to even attempt that. We talk about it, but we haven't seen any real focus on sustainability. It's all about sustainability, okay? And that's just not about food. It's sustainable living and using our natural resources. You see, our energy bills are some of the highest in the world, which contributes to our cost of living tremendously. And so, we really have to focus on sustainable initiatives. And what we have in some ways, I must be honest, I went to the Global Island Sustainable Summit, and Bermuda is leaders in renewable energy, leaders in waste to energy management, and leader in water crisis management. So of all the islands, I saw Bermuda was the leader. So we are working very hard towards sustainability. Where we're lacking is the food industry.
All right. I'm going to try my best to read this comment. Someone Burgess says, hats off to Greg Wilson for putting his money where his mouth is. What exactly should government be doing to assist the farming industry?
The first thing they should do is honor their promises and their commitments. We have a agricultural center that was set up many years ago for the support of the farmers to house and to seed and to take care of pretty much everything farming and help the farmers. But that has been underfunded. It's been dilapidated literally for many years. And although in our crop strategy report is talk of repairing it, there's really been no movement. So that's the first thing that government can do. All right. I can go on, but that's it.
No worries. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson saying, can you explain why Bermuda, with such a small population, has difficulty in reaching food security? How do we change the mindsets of the people of Bermuda to at least reach an 80% food security?
Well, I'm fortunate to grow up in an era where we had food security. I remember before we didn't have supermarkets. We didn't have the marketplaces and the blenders and all of them. We never had those. We all had little vegetable carts coming through our neighborhoods, and he would blow a whistle, and we'd all run out and buy a little bit of vegetable because everyone had a garden in their backyard, you see, and we would share vegetables, and then we would supplement it with the vegetable cart guy, you know. But then came the supermarkets in the 70s and late 60s and early 70s, and that changed everything. It became much more convenient. So we replaced our food security with food convenience. And what we got was a whole lot of processed foods over time. I was probably 17, 18 years old when I saw a processed food for the first time, and it was a Swanson's TV dinner. I'll never forget it. You know, I was so excited to sit down, and in those days, we just had one TV channel, and have us on a Friday night, have a little square foil pan that you would put in the oven, you know? So when that's it, it's just going to be tough.
Yeah. Michael Daniels asking, is there any form of vertical farming that you would endorse?
Sure, I do some vertical farming myself, but I grow I trellis. It's called trellising, and you can grow several crops. Many of the local farmers do that now here. Warren Brown, he does it, and it just grows tomatoes on vines that can be 20 feet, 25 feet long and tall. And do the same thing with cucumbers. You can do the same thing with several different varieties of fruits. So yeah, I do support that. But again, it's got to be in the soil. The soil is a biological system that is all interconnected, and the plant's the most important key. That plant will exudate sugars in the soil that will feed the microbes. The microbes will mineralize the clay, the rock, the sand, the silt, and then it makes the plant available. Now the plant will absorb it, build its proteins, grow healthy, and give you sustenance. That's how this whole symbiotic system works. So we have to work in that realm. You know, the use of chemicals and pesticides and spray. I saw a farmer spraying something the other day, and I stopped and I asked what it was, and he said it's called Lorox. Okay, so I didn't know anything about it, so I went home and I researched it, and I found out that it was pretty dangerous stuff. So that is types of practices that we have to stop, because that destroys the biological life in the earth, and that which makes it, instead of soil, it makes it dirt. You see, and now nothing grows. Plants get help, they get sick because there's no biological transfer of minerals. It's more of a chemical one. And that is why the plant gets sick. And when it gets sick, it sends off these pheromones they kind of transpire them out, they sweat them out. And that ammonia smell is detected by insects that use their olfactory senses, those little antennae. Their noses are on the tip. They smell this ammonia, and then they zoom in on the source, and so they attack the plant. So people think, oh, because the bugs eat it, it's a good thing. But in reality, the plant's sick. A healthy plant will not be eaten by bugs, just like a healthy body won't be destroyed by bacteria.
Yeah, indeed. One last question from the audience. Michelle White asking, is water specially treated with vertical farming? Can anyone do it? Is the quality still good?
When you talk vertical farming, are you talking about hydroponics? Hydroponics has its own issues, especially temperature issues. In the heat of summer in Bermuda, in a little trough, that water can be 120 degrees. Nothing's going to thrive in that. All right. But it can be done. It really can. But the cost is prohibitive for me. There's much more inputs in order to be like, for instance, if the water temperature gets too hot, you need to buy a chiller. That's energy usage. So that makes the cost of that water much higher, which makes the plant much higher. You know, it's better to just shade it out.
I lied. One more. This is an important question.
No worries.
Where do you sell your products other than your business?
We sell our products to just 2 supermarkets. We are exclusively with the Supermart on Front Street and with Linda's in Devonshire. We don't sell to the others as of yet. We're just trying to focus on them, but they keep us extremely busy. Our some of the best meals on this island begin with food that's grown in food forest soils in all of these restaurants. I mean, from Dockyard to St. David's. I mean, I'm going to St. Regis today. So, yeah, island wide.
Alrighty. Greg, for someone who wants to be a part of the solution, whether by growing food, volunteering, or learning, where should they start today?
I would say start at Food Forest. People come all the time. This is a movement, okay? Regenerative agriculture is becoming a movement in Bermuda. All the community gardens that are popping up island wide and people dedicated to restoring the soil health, that's what it's all about. It's preserving it. And that's where the sustainability issue is addressed. So yeah, just join the movement. There's many of groups like Green Rock and like Bermuda's Love, and a few others. Just join them, and because they do community walks and seminars and talks and education on sustainability, and especially focused on food security.
All right, I promise you, last one from the audience. Judith Welch says, people are afraid of starting a garden because they just do not know what to do. Any suggestions for the first-time gardeners, especially those who do not have a lot of backyard space? And now I know you said come to Food Forest, but there are some people with literally no backyards. Speak to them.
Yeah, well, there's several options. You have container growing. You start off in containers. Just get some pots, put some soil in them, and plant something and see what happens. This is how you learn. And there's the only advice I would give anyone that wants to start a little garden in the backyard is 3 things. You keep the soil loose, keep the soil covered, and you keep the soil moist. Our job as gardeners are to encourage the environment for plants to grow. Okay, so you need it loose so that the roots can penetrate easily. You want it covered because it's protected from the elements, the heat. Where here it's nice and cool, and you want it moist because that's microbes. They really thrive in a semi-aquatic environment. So you do those 3 things, and you'll be well on your way to growing healthy, nutrient-dense food. The rest you'll learn.
Yeah, indeed. And yes, we have Dr. Patricia Chapman asking, can people purchase produce directly from Food Forests? Wow.
Yeah. Yes, we have an in-store shop right there, and we sell every day. We're open from 8 to 12. Let me explain something to you. It's so incredible for me to see this. We have 5 young Bermudians, all of them under the age of 30. The youngest is 14. The oldest is my son, is 29. All right. And the 24, 25, 23 in between, and 20 in between. And they've been a part of Food Forest since the very beginning. And today we have these 4 youngsters. They're owners of a business. You see, they're directors in Food Forest. So they're learning valuable business etiquette and lessons. They're a limited liability company. They understand shareholders, and they understand directors and officers. And at the same time, they're the ones producing this tremendous amount of beautiful food. We need to replicate this. If you want to help, send your children, encourage others. We can open more and more of these, and these kids can become owners of their own destiny. We talked about the issue today of the throne species, the debt, but that's not the issue. Debt can be a valuable tool. What we really need to focus on is our assets, because our assets are what controls our debt. Okay. So, a lot of people say, oh, our first priority should be the debt. No, our first priority should be our assets. What are our assets? Our assets are our people, are our land, are our waters, are our sun. These are our assets, but we're disregarding them.
I think
You
that
see?
aligns with what those three comments said in a row that I said. I think to focus on the debt is taking us away from the human element, right?
Yes.
And I think it was Charles, Dr. Anthony Richardson, and one other person, Michael Daniels, maybe, who said that as much as we focus on the debt, we actually kind of need to focus on the social issues and the social maybe a sociological evaluation, and all of that is in what you just mentioned. And I appreciate you touching on that, Greg. I should have known you wouldn't mind touching on that.
Yeah.
I would have asked you early, but I was like, no, let's not get started. But I do, because it's all
Yeah.
it's all
It's
interconnected.
all interconnected, yes. And from a farmer's perspective, I'm in the soil. I'm looking under microscopes. I'm looking at temperatures. I see the connectivity. I see how close it is, and how each one of those trophic levels are all connected to the other. So it all goes in a circle. So we have to be thinking on those lines.
Indeed, Greg. Thank you. Honestly, thank you, BDC, for providing this space for vendors to come on and engage. I remember I was hosting the night that you won you were one of the winners for the pitch competition, and I swear, the only person I think got a pop as loud as you was probably Kamal Dickinson. But the pop, and I don't think it was because everyone there knew Greg or was friends with Greg. It was because something he said earlier. There are so many people with great business ideas, and really great ideas. But sustainability, this one seemed like it was. You know how they say when you go into business, everyone's not your client. Like you have specific targets, right? If you open a restaurant, you're focusing on a specific group. This was a business that literally exists to help everyone. And I think the way that it connected with people. And I'm saying this not because Greg's here. I'm saying it because it's real, folks. If you have an idea when it comes to business, whatever you do, just make sure that it's filling a gap. Make sure it's helping people, because that. We're talking food sustainability, but as far as a business sustaining itself, it's only going to sustain as long as people need it. That's the truth. And so, thank you. My dad's a big fan. Oh, I got to ask you before you run out. We didn't discuss this. My dad didn't know you were coming on today, and he said last night that, look, I think Greg may have been impacted by the weather recently. Speak to that, because we haven't discussed climate. I know we're about to run, and I know audience wants to go run, watch the budget or listen to the budget. But before. Talk about Bermuda's climate and farming.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've been at this farming thing for about 3 years now. And I thought I saw it all until the last 2 weeks when we had this winter storm. That was pretty brutal. That really set Bermuda's farmers back tremendously. I got a call from a couple of them that had some serious major damage, wind damage. But plants are resilient. They're living organisms. And I was devastated. I mean, my greenhouse got destroyed and everything in it. But you just pick up and you just keep going. I picked up a few hundred tomatoes, washed them, put them in some boxes, and forgot them. And I opened them up yesterday, and there we have, 200 pounds of beautiful, ripe red tomatoes that were destroyed in the hurricane, the vines. All of the romaine lettuce that was wind burned is now just flushing right back. So we recover pretty quickly, and our goal is just to keep planting.
Yeah, indeed. Greg, thank you so much.
No problem.
Suzanne Ingham says right here, she's a fan. She said, can you please come back again, like soon, please? We'll try to make it happen for you, Suzanne. And also, we'll do our best to try to visit Food Forest ourselves over the next 2 weeks to bring that experience to the audience as well. But thank you. Congratulations to yourself and your team. One more thing. During the presentation, something Greg did as well is he made sure that everyone on his team was recognized for what they're doing. So you may see his face now, but he's very conscious of making sure that those who share the work are recognized. So congratulations to you and your team, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. Have a great one.
Thank you, my man. Nice seeing you. Talk to you again, all right?
All right. Greg Wilson, folks, if you appreciated that discussion, wherever you are streaming from, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, family, colleagues. We're going to take a quick break, and then I have something for you. I have a question for you. And remember, folks, it's the things you should know. You've done very well the last 2 days. Don't let yourselves down today. Stick with us. We'll be back in about 3:28.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BEDC, Bermuda business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Every space has a message, whether it's a store, a government office, or a doctor's waiting room. With Store Tunes Radio, transform your environment with customized music and professional messaging that keeps people informed, engaged, and at ease. Easy to use, built for organizations of every kind. Powered by Bermuda Communications Group. Store Tunes Radio, the soundtrack to better customer experiences. Visit storetunesradio.com to learn more.
The Office of Consumer Affairs protects residents by promoting fairness, safety, and transparency in the marketplace across the island. We investigate complaints, manage recalls, educate the public, and enforce consumer protection laws to ensure fair treatment for all. Our team supports consumers by resolving disputes, providing guidance, and helping residents understand their rights and responsibilities. We work with businesses to encourage compliance, ethical practices, and trust, helping create a stable and competitive economy. Through education, enforcement, and outreach, Consumer Affairs helps keep Bermuda's marketplace safe, informed, and accountable.
Alrighty, welcome back. Thanks again to the BDC for ensuring we can have these Vendor Friday segments with folks like Greg Wilson, and thank you to Food Forest, everyone doing the work in the community up there. Folks, thanks again to the BAC group of companies, HSBC, Bermuda, Medical House, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075, ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. Folks, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it's a things you should know. Things you should know. Here we go. Can you hear this not? Can you hear the? Let me know. Yes or no? Can you hear the music right now? Could you hear the? Because I need to make sure you hear it so you know that your time, whether your time's up or not. All right. So let me know if you heard the game music just now before I read the question. Yep, you heard it. Okay, I got the channels on. I don't know why I keep getting the channels wrong, folks. All right, here we go. Here's the question. What animal has the strongest sense of smell? My goodness, someone said polar bear, someone said cats, but Stacey Ann Brown came out with the winner again. My good, how does she do that? No, seriously, you need to be studied. I'm sorry, you need to be studied because you couldn't have Googled that fast. You could not have Googled that fast. Charles was unsure. He asked an elephant. A lot of people said dog. A lot of people said dog. But yeah, so this is I'll let you know, this is the History Channel trivia game that I asked this question for, and it's science and technology. And so, yeah, what animal has the strongest sense of smell? It's the African elephant. Wow, I didn't know that, by the way. But how does Stacey Ann Brown do that? How do you do that? No wonder Charles said he wants you on his tug of war team. Wow. Congratulations. All right, folks, we got to wrap it up. Some of you need to go watch the budget. I guess I need to go listen to the budget as well. So I'll say this. Regarding the discussion, I really appreciate the conversation, and we're all in different spaces in our lives as far as, economy. But I've yet to be convinced about good debt. I know I'm not a finance or economics expert, and people have tried to convince me, especially, business people and bankers, that there's a such thing as good debt. I'm not buying into it. I don't like the idea of having debt. But that's just the system we live in. That said, when talking about money, we so often forget about the human element, the people, the naturalness, the resources that we all have. And I don't want that to be lost. I used to say on this show pretty often that for us to get out of any economic situation is going to take sacrifice. Part of that sacrifice requires us to be humble and maybe live with our parents or family members or even friends to save up money and build some wealth. No, you may not be able to walk around your house as comfortable as you want, or even come home at whatever hour you want, or drink and have parties or company like you want. But that seems like the way to go. It really does. So I want people to consider that. The sacrifice that might be needed for us as individuals requires collective vision to lead us to prosperity. As far as the conversation with Greg, I think a lot of the issues we discuss on this show were solved in that conversation. It's really just a matter of how and when. How will we each do it, and when will we start? If you haven't visited Food Forest, get out there, check it out. Go check it out. I think it could be beneficial for us all. All right, here's your daily inspiration because you all got to go watch the budget or listen to the budget. We'll end it this week with another quote from the late Jesse Jackson. And the quote's very straightforward and simple. Your children need your presence, not your presence. End quote. Do what you will with that, folks. There is no show on Monday, no live show on Monday, as we will be at the budget breakfast. So we will be back on Tuesday. And for those of you who have already left to go watch, then hey, hopefully someone shares this with you. But don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to this again with you on Tuesday. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.